All right, ladies, thank you for joining me with ISO Prosperity Sisterhood. This space has been such a blessing to so many of us. And I know I open with a heart posture of gratitude when I'm here. And I know that coming in, a lot of women come with that same heart posture, right? And I've been thinking about gratitude these last few days and writing a lot about it. I just wanted to share a couple stances and stories with you to incite gratitude in what you have going on and what you're doing. Because gratitude is so important. And yet it can be so commercialized. Like, I feel like there's been a lot of trends around gratitude where it is so like surface level, the quick three things at the end of the day, or the toxic positivity of, oh, you just need gratitude, right? Or are you doing your gratitude, right? And yet we talk a lot about here in Sisterhood, we talk about zooming out. And sometimes something I wrote down in my notes is in First Thessalonians, it says, give thanks in all things, not for all things. And so when I think about that idea that we talk a lot about here in Sisterhood, is that zooming out, because sometimes when we are so zoomed in, when something is so close, it's the only thing we see, that becomes well, I don't want to give gratitude for that one thing because that thing that I'm in, that I'm being subjected to, or what have you, is not something I want to be grateful for, right? So we like try and resist it because it's so up close and personal that we're not able to zoom out and see the other things around it, right? Because when we're in something, there's other things around us, right? There's other things in the works. And again, just to say it again, it says, the Bible says in First Thessalonians, not not to give thanks for all things, but to give thanks in all things. Okay? Think about, as we've walked through Sisterhood, of the zooming out idea, holding that thing at arm's length and seeing everything else that's around it that we can be grateful for. It might not be that one thing, right? But all the other things that we are in, that are in it with us, we can be grateful for those things. And so, a story or a thought that I have for you is, when we meet things with gratitude, the outcomes are different. Okay? When we meet adversity with gratitude, how when we meet challenges with gratitude, when we meet opposition with gratitude, it can feel a little bit like humility. It can feel like more peace, right? Because we've distanced ourselves from that one thing, right? And brought it to that arm's length that says, oh, wow, thank you. I didn't see it that way. Or experiencing that challenge, like, oh, I'm glad I had those other things working, right? Even though this thing broke down, or what have you. That's just where my mind went when I said it's working. But that stance, that heart posture of gratitude, when we are in the thick of something, right? It can exude and emulate and feel like humility. I experienced something like this similar in the wintertime this last year. And in that, it as this situation is unfolding, even though if you look at just the thing and you zoom all the way in, it was not a fun situation, right? And I could easily have said, we are done here. right? But meeting it with gratitude, saying, thanks for asking that question. Like, I'm going to pause, right? I'm going to find that humility. I'm going to zoom out so I can not only see and feel what I have going on, but I can maybe even shift my perspective a little bit to answer that question, to meet that kind of opposition from a stance of peace, from a stance of gratitude. And then again, exuding that humility. Okay. So I just wanted you to kind of experience that again from that arm's length, not from like being in the heat of that situation, but what are some areas that you can apply this to, right? Or have applied this to? Maybe you have something coming up that you're like, man, this did not go this way last year. I wonder if it's going to go this way this year, right? And zooming out far enough to where we can see the gratitude around it, not necessarily for it, but we can still have gratitude in it, right? As we're in the sauce, in the soup, right? In the adversity, in the challenges, in the opposition, like when we can hold something at arm's length, we get to experience humility kind of as an emotion. Because, and then also like gratitude is very much a chosen, or can be a chosen emotion and position to be in, right? Like I said, thank you for asking that question, right? You don't have to give an answer right away to whatever that question, that opposition, that adversity that came your way. Like, okay, thank you for that, whatever it is. It allows you to breathe. Just being thankful. It allows for that distance of breath between you and the answer versus the reaction, right? That distance just makes me think of distance. Like I talk a lot about zooming out, or that arm's length, right? Having that distance between you and that thing, you can then see the distance between that thing and the other thing, right? That situation and what um, turn of events brought that forward. And then you can itemize that and you can catalog it and you can relive those things from that stance of gratitude, from that stance of humility, right? So that we can live in the present and not make decisions based on that one thing that's all zoomed in, right? I do it this way so I don't cover my mouth and we don't have muffled voices. But to have that distance, gratitude closes a lot of gaps, but it also gives us that arm's length, that it gives us that perspective. We can connect dots, we can connect relationships, we can connect situations, and we can choose it in the present moment so that we can live in it. Okay? Give thanks in all things. All right. So going into our live discussion, I'm curious, what did this bring up for you? I don't have a specific question to ask, but do you have something coming up that needs some gratitude? Where can we zoom out and pull gratitude from other areas of our stories, of our situations, so that this next thing is met with gratitude and is met with that humility? Okay. With that, we'll go into our live discussion and we'll talk soon.